The door clicked shut behind me. I stood there in the dim hallway, my fingers still warm from the wine glass I'd just set down. His voice was low, almost a whisper. "You're shaking." And he wasn't wrong. My hands hadn't stopped since I walked in. I told myself it was the cold, but the apartment was too warm, the air thick with something I couldn't name. "Just breathe," he said, stepping closer. I should have left then. We weren't supposed to be alone. Not like this. Not ever. But Sarah had texted last minute. "Stuck at the venue. Crisis with the florist. Be there in 20. And I'd laughed, because of course she had. My best friend since college, always putting out fires, always the one holding everything together, including me. That's why I was there. That's why I'd asked for his help. I'd been drowning for weeks. Night terrors about the wedding, panic attacks in dressing rooms. My fiancé Daniel kept saying, "It's just nerves." But it wasn't. It was this suffocating certainty that I was making a mistake. Not about Daniel, about me. Like I was standing on a ledge, one wrong move and I'd ruin everything. And then, at Sarah's birthday dinner, I'd watched her husband, Mark, calm a stranger's meltdown in the restaurant parking lot. Just talk her through it. Steady. Patient. The kind of quiet strength I'd always wished I had. So I asked him. Not for therapy, not for anything inappropriate. Just, "Can you help me?" He hesitated, then nodded. The first session was in a coffee shop. Public. Safe. I brought a notebook, like this was some kind of study group. He asked questions I didn't expect. "When did you first feel like this? What's the worst that happens if you walk away?" And I answered honestly. Too honestly. By the second meeting, I was crying in my car afterward, gripping the wheel like it could anchor me. Sarah noticed. "You've been different," she said, passing me a tissue in her kitchen. "Lighter, maybe?" I lied, just sleeping better. She smiled, relieved. "Good. You need that." Mark was in the other room, loading the dishwasher. Our eyes met for half a second. I looked away first, then came the texts. Not flirty, not wrong, just check-ins. "How's the breathing exercise working?" "You got this, small things." But my phone buzzed like a secret. I'd hide it under my pillow when Daniel walked in, heart hammering. One night, after a particularly bad panic attack, I texted Mark at 2 a.m. "I don't know if I can do this." His reply came fast. "Where are you?" 20 minutes later, he was outside my apartment, leaning against his car in the parking lot rain. No coat, just a gray hoodie, sleeves pushed up. He didn't ask if he could come up, just stood there, water dripping from his hair, and said, "Talk to me." I did, for an hour, about Daniel, about Sarah, about the way my chest tightened every time I pictured saying, "I do." Mark didn't judge, didn't fix, just listened, like he was holding space for all the things I couldn't tell anyone else. When I finally stopped talking, he handed me his keys. "Drive around. Clear your head. I'll walk." I should have given them back. I didn't. The lies stacked up like dominoes. Working late. I was in Mark's truck, parked by the river, watching the water. Girls' night. I was on his couch, knees pulled to my chest, while he made tea. Just need some air. I was in his guest room, door cracked, because I'd started hyperventilating in my car and he was the only one who could make it stop. Sarah's texts got happier. "OMG, the centerpieces are perfect. Can't wait for your bachelorette weekend." Every notification was a knife twist. Mark never touched me, never crossed a line. But the way he looked at me sometimes, like he saw the cracks no one else did, felt more intimate than any kiss. Then one afternoon, his hand brushed mine as he passed me a tissue. We both froze. "We shouldn't do this anymore," he said. I nodded. We didn't stop. The breaking point came 3 days before the wedding. Daniel found a receipt in my jeans pocket. Coffee shop, 2 drinks. Dated the night I'd told him I was at a bridesmaid emergency. He didn't yell, just held it up, voice quiet. "Who were you with, Jess?" I could have lied. I almost did. Then my phone lit up on the counter. Mark's name flashed across the screen. Daniel's face went still. In that second, I knew I'd already lost him. Not to another person, to the version of me who'd let this happen. The version who'd traded my best friend's trust for a lifeline I was too weak to refuse. I answered the call. Mark's voice was tight. Sarah's on her way over. She knows. The floor dropped out. Sarah didn't scream. That's what I'd expected, what I deserved. But she just stood in my living room, arms crossed, staring at the engagement photos on my wall. Did you sleep with him? No. Do you love him? No. Then what the hell is this? I couldn't explain, not the way my stomach unclenched when Mark was near, not the way his silence felt safer than anyone else's words, not the way I'd let myself need him, like a drug, while my best friend planned my wedding and my fiancé smiled, oblivious. She started crying. I trusted you. Mark didn't defend me, didn't defend himself, just stood there, hands in his pockets, looking at the floor. I'd ruined them. I'd ruined me. The wedding was called off, not by Daniel, by me. I couldn't walk down that aisle with Sarah's tears in my head, with Mark's voice in my ear, with the knowledge that I'd spent months lying to the one person who'd never lied to me. Daniel moved out. Sarah stopped answering my calls. Mark? I don't know. I haven't seen him since that day. Sometimes I drive by their old house. The lights are still on at night. I wonder if they made it. I wonder if I'll ever stop feeling like I'm drowning. I still have his keys. They're in my nightstand, under a stack of unopened wedding invitations. I tell myself I'll return them. I haven't yet.